Okay, y'all, and it is Friday. Oh, I need y'all to cut me some slack. Came Wednesday, I decided that, I have a really busy week coming up. Thursday, I had a procedure done on my back for the second time in the hopes that it would work. I got a lumbar steroid injection at a slightly higher dose. First time I did it, I got back pain relief maybe for like a week. After a week of absolute hell, and then the back pain was back. So I'm trying it a second time to see if it actually will provide me some relief, and I'm hoping and praying it does because I still feel a little sore. But it was just yesterday. So, and then, I've just got a lot of things going on this week, and I was just like, fuck it, man. This Wednesday's episode of Spilling the Anxiety is brought to you by self-care because I cannot find it in me to sit down in front of this right now knowing all the stuff that I've got going on to do. So I really did need to take a break. I want to say that I've done a pretty good job with staying consistent for somebody who was just starting. Some of the podcasts that I've looked up on Spotify, they've got like no rhyme or rhythm. They just come out, I guess, whenever the person has time, or they come out on a monthly basis or whatever. I've really tried to bring you guys consistent content, and I hope that it is appreciated. So forgive the break, but it was much needed. And we are back today. Today, I don't really have a topic to discuss. This is kind of just like a stream of consciousness, if you will. I think I just got a lot on my mind, and there's a lot that, man, as I'm getting older, it just seems more there, and I don't know how to handle getting older well. So I just want to spit out some of my thoughts because I feel like today I'm just very full of feelings, and I just got a lot of questions for the universe, and I want to share those with you guys today. So we're going to take a quick break, and I hope you'll stick with me for this brief but hopefully meaningful episode of Spilling the Anxiety. So stay tuned, y'all. All right, y'all, and we're back. All right, where do I start digging in here? I don't know. I was actually having really good, like, back-to-back thought with the friend that I told you that I was catching up with on the last episode of Spilling the Anxiety. And, we really bounced off of each other. There were things that's just like, yeah, stuff like emotional intelligence, stuff like there are things that now, God, I really, forgive me, friend, if I give up some of your personal thoughts out there. She was talking about how, prostitution was something that, it's not what it is today. It's not, cheap and tawdry and just, you got a pimp and you get bitch slapped if you don't give up your, profit, and there's no, however Law and Order depicts it or any other TV show out there depicts it, and it's true. There are books, famous books that have come out on literal, like, pimps who've come out and been like, this is my bottom, bitch. This is what's going on. You got 50 Cent used to rap about that shit. PIMP, if you haven't listened to that song. There's a lot of shit going on about that. And it's like, it used to be something that it wasn't, pimp and go stand out in the corner and, the cheapest shit that you can buy at fucking Revolution, or Rainbow or any other fucking skeezy ass sex shop and just go out there and do your thing, I had experience with being an exotic dancer, and I know for a fact that there are a lot of those women that the only reason why they're making so much bank in those clubs is when you take men into the VIP room, you got bitches in there fucking, sucking, doing all that other shit, and it's like, we doing what we gotta do for however it is, but there are some women that legitimately just enjoy it. There are some women that it's like, this is what you can do, but how long is that gonna last you when you get older, and men who walk into those clubs place such a high fucking standard on you having a perfect body and you being the fantasy. Although I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of places that aren't like that. And the place that I worked at, it was some ugly bitches in there. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't mean to down like my female brethren or whatever, my sisterhood, but there were some less than fortunate looking women out there. There were some women that didn't even have dancing talent, to be honest. And how they made money was beyond me, but I'm sure that goes back to the whole sucking and fucking in the VIP room thing that I was talking about. So I found myself in a position where it's just like I'm doing things that I'm not proud of for money, and that includes this, to be honest. This isn't something that I'm proud about. Having a mental health condition and all of my personal thoughts on display for people to attack or not attack. People can call me brave, people can call me ridiculous. I'm putting myself at risk with the people in my life, talking about my experiences and how I got here. You guys know some of the names of my friends. You guys know, stuff about me that is just, if you did the hop, skip, and a jump, you could connect to the other people in my life that I'm trying to talk about anonymously, but in reality it probably won't stay that way long. I realized, so it was both sweet and bittersweet. So that was stupid. It was just bittersweet. Okay, let me get my vocabulary right. So when I posted yesterday that I had my procedure, there were plenty of people that I have friended on Facebook, but I have not connected with, as in, we haven't sent messages, and all that stuff. And these are people that I can't say for sure, but I'm almost 1,000% positive that they haven't supported my podcast or any of the things that I'm doing. I religiously, every time I come out with a podcast, I put up, my TikTok video, I put up my little preview, my little video clip. I'm running an ad on Instagram right now to get followers for my podcast, because this is something I really want to put out there, because I'm putting myself out there. Right now, not too many people are listening. I don't have the greatest audience. Nobody knows who the hell I am, but I'm putting myself out there with the potential for thousands, if not millions of people to know who I am, to know who my struggle is, what my struggle is, I'm sorry. And it's scary. And so these are people that haven't really supported that. But when I put that I was having a procedure, along with a picture, and people were like, oh, Godspeed, good luck, blah, blah. And I could only say safely that maybe 3 or 4 of those people were genuine people that was like, yo, you know what? I've been supporting what you're doing, and I'm here and I'm listening to it. I really genuinely wish you the best. That doesn't mean that to wish me the best, you have to listen to my stuff or to support my stuff. Of course not. That's not what that means. But if you're going to wish me the best, and you don't even know me from a hole in the wall, but that's just because I put a picture of something interesting. Because a lot of people find that interesting. You shaking your ass, they find it interesting. You're doing, you put up drama, people find that interesting. You posting up pictures of people falling flat on their ass, they find that interesting. But you're talking about something like this, something that's hard to talk about, and a lot of people are like, man, I don't want to hear this bitch talk for 30 to 45 minutes, which is valid. I can't say that I was somebody that listened to podcasts before I came out with my own, And it's a little crazy, because support comes in all sorts of different forms and ways, but it just got to me, because I'm just like, yo, there are a lot of people that their emotional intelligence, it isn't up there. Not because you don't listen to podcasts or because you don't do any of that shit, but it's because it's just like the things that matter is generally the shit that we really don't want to talk about. There are literal uproars about shit like, oh my God, the super size me at McDonald's, and holy shit, this person, oh my God, this person is being cheated on, or whatever it is. So let's create an uproar for that. And oh my God, they're bullying this girl. So let's create an uproar for that. But the shit that matters, that would make our quality of life any better, I don't see anybody creating an uproar about. Listen, I'm from the Bronx, and I know everybody who knows about the Bronx in New York, they have their own little self-perceived image of whatever the hell it is. But I mean, for me, it wasn't the most dangerous place to live, but it wasn't the best either. I've been into project buildings where it's like people are pissing in their own hallways, in their own elevators, and that shit is nasty. And it's like, why would you go ahead and ruin a place that you live in? Whether you paying for that, you want a voucher, you want Section 8, you want any of that shit, why would you go ahead and ruin a place that you got to come home to every fucking day? You got people that literally like, they're always like, oh, and this, oh man, I learned this working for the census. Okay. And you got people that complain about how shitty their neighborhoods and schools are. You got people in New York that are trying to struggle to find a way, or, even any place that's relatively poorly funded, talking about that they have to scrape together, every Dominique couch and all that other stuff to send their kids to private school to give them a better opportunity because the public schools in their area are trash. And it's like, do you know that not everybody does that? There are legitimate suburbs and places out here where people just send their kids to PS Around the Corner because PS Around the Corner has a 10 out of 10 on grayschools.com because the area and the neighborhood is so well funded and so well cared about that their public school environments are our poor people private school mentality, if that makes any sense. You know, I was one of those people. I sent my kids to private school because I was like, man, I don't really trust these schools in the area, blah, 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 whatever. But now that I've moved out of there and I've moved to, let's face it, I moved to suburbia, you know, I applied for magnet schools and I applied for charter schools and shit like that. But that's because the quality of free schools around here are so much better than the paid for schools back home. You've got to live in a slamming ass neighborhood. And what I learned with the census is that the only reason why those places are there are some places that are better than others that get better funding is because people respond, people care in the community. They're like, yo, I give a fuck where I go home to. I give a fuck where my kids are growing up. So I'm going to answer this bullshit ass survey. I'm going to answer all of this stuff because it's only going to serve to make my life better and my family's life better. You know, and that shit is just crazy to me because it's like, some of us are poor because we really don't have an opportunity to get better. I mean, shit, you know, I'm unemployed at the moment. I am unemployed. And I know I talked about the fact that I'm in a slightly better position than most because, you know, I collect disability for my time in service, which is not something that everybody gets. But I'm equally as unemployed. But my goals for living, my standard for living is higher. There isn't a thing that I wouldn't do out there to really get the money that my family needs. I don't mean that I'm out here selling my ass on a corner. It's not. But it's what I'm saying is that there are people with that mentality. There are women with that mentality. You know, it's like, I don't give a fuck what you think about me because I'm out here selling my ass. And so I'm out here selling my ass for my family, I should say. And, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, but you know, you got other options. You got other blah, blah, whatever. And it's like, yeah, but you don't know until you win the shit. You don't. Sometimes that shit really doesn't feel like you've got options. You know, at the time God, I've never admitted this to anyone before. I don't even think I admitted it to Carrie. I think I lied to her about how this happened. So Carrie, sorry, I don't think this is a lie that I fucking came clean to you about. So before I start that, back when I was having, you know, my whole I'm going to lie for attention thing, I told lies very easily and it wasn't something that I was proud about. But there were also times where I just lied because I wanted to spare myself the embarrassment and the humiliation of admitting that I had done something that got myself in a really fucked up position that it wasn't really a smart move to make, but I made it anyway because I've always been the kind of person that's like money above everything. Like money is what's going to get me out of this fucked up situation. So when I was 19. When I was 19, I fell for one of those get rich quick schemes where people were like, yo, if you give me your debit card or you give me whatever, I'll go ahead and I'll take this money and I'll flip it for you. And, you know, you could get back your money in no time. Now, I knew that I was already enlisting in the military. And I thought it would be nice at the time to really just get some money. Man, I was working like 3 jobs. I was working at Viola's. I was working at Yankee Stadium. I was working at, I was working bartending at the time. And it was a lot of shit. And I was just tired of it. You know, like there was stuff that I needed to buy that I wanted to do, stuff that I needed for college, you know, just things that I wanted to do that I needed money for. And I was just like, yo, it'd be really dope if I had some extra money in my pocket. So I fell victim to one of these get rich quick schemes. Now I know a lot of, and at the time there was a voice nagging in the back of my head that was like, yo, bitch, if it was really this fucking easy, don't you think? And nobody out there would be complaining about being stuck in money problems. But I chose to ignore that because I was like, yo, the potential return could be real big. So I did it anyway. And I remember these dudes came to my building. It was four dudes in a car. And they was just like, give us your debit card, give us the PIN. We're going to go ahead and we're going to deposit these checks and blah, 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 and do all this other shit. And then we're going to give you the card back tomorrow and you'll be good. I was like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Well, the worst that can happen was that fucking next morning, I get notifications from Chase that I had, I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I got all this money in here. I got like $5,000. Bet this is great. And so I'm texting the guy and I'm like, hey, when can I get my debit card back? I ain't got no answer. But I'm on the subway. I'm like, whatever, it's early. I'm on my way to school. And then I start getting these text messages back to back to back. $500 withdrawn, $500 withdrawn, $1,000 withdrawn, tons of money being withdrawn until everything in my account was empty. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like hitting up the guy, and nothing. Before I knew it, I got calls that, or I got notification that the checks that they had deposited wasn't cleared. They were fake. They had deposited checks from CUNY, which I didn't even go to a CUNY school at the time. And what they did was off of the available balance, as soon as they deposited the checks, that shit is like available immediately, but it still needs a couple of days to clear. But if the check is real, then you really don't got anything to worry about. These checks weren't real. So when they were deposited, they took out all that money, left me like $4,500 in debt. Because when the check didn't clear, they automatically withdraw and put my bank account in the negative for that amount of money. I was freaking the fuck out. See, at first, I thought it was just like, all right, well, whatever. They took all this money for themselves. I just got to get a new debit card reported, lost or stolen, blah, 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 whatever, call it a day. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, I didn't even think to report it lost or stolen. The first thing that I did was I called Chase and I told him that somebody did XYZ with my card, and I made the mistake of letting them know that I gave them my PIN number. And they was like, well, this isn't lost or stolen, miss. This is fraud. And they left me responsible with the debt. So I was freaking out because I'm 19 years old and I'd never even earned that much money at once. And I was trying to figure out how the fuck am I supposed to earn back $5,000 to pay this bank back? Man, was I freaking out. And the only thing that came across, I started thinking about fast ways to make money. And so I decided, I'm going all around Manhattan looking for new bartending gigs and blah, blah, and XYZ. And because bartending, I would actually make a decent amount of money. And then one day I walk into a strip club and, they're like, we're only hiring for dancers. And I'm like, that's not really what I want to do. But I know that strippers used to make a lot of money. And so I found myself in a position that I was not proud of at all. I was not happy with, but I felt like it was what I needed to do to clear my name, to clear this debt, because to me at the time, ruining my credit was like the worst thing that could have happened to me. We're going to take a quick break right now, and then we'll be back in a minute. All right, y'all, so we are back. Where was I? Shit. So, I found myself doing what I had to do. I would like to preface this and say that I was an awful dancer. Not because I don't know how to dance. I actually did amazing at that. But the whole striking a conversation, trying to suck money out of men that I don't really know or care about, or got nasty breath or greasy ass teeth, any of that shit, it was not particularly my forte. I missed the gene or the quality that somebody is supposed to have to be able to just do what they got to do with no qualms and no problems. And so I actually spend most of my nights making friends or conversation with men that I didn't really know, and being friendly with them in a way that just left me leaving broke. By the way, if anybody is considering becoming a stripper, or anybody doesn't know, you actually have to pay to rent the space that you dance in. So for me, it was $120 a night. Yeah. It was not something that I'm proud about. It's not something I ever really tell folks. It's actually something that I'm still pretty embarrassed in. And I feel bad because I was talking to my friend and she's just like, this is what it is. Like, this is just what we have to do. Like, you shouldn't feel bad about doing what you got to do because nobody else is going to pay your shit. But she talks about how back then, like shit like prostitution and all that other stuff was sacred. And the power of the pussy is a real thing. If you ever get a chance, you should look up Hot Damn I Rock. on YouTube. He doesn't make videos anymore, but he does have this video called Power of the Pussy, and it is very much so a real thing. You know, there have been wars fought over pussy. I mean, it sounds crazy, but that really is what it is. You know, if you look at almost any action story, any love story, any story that's got anything to do with anybody who needs to be saved, anybody who, like, there was like a major problem, almost every story opens up about, you know, a woman who some dude is fighting for, and if he's not fighting for the bitch, then he's, you know, he runs into her and meets her while he's fighting for whatever it is that he has to fight for. And, you know, at the end, it just turns out like, oh my God, babe, I love you, and blah, blah, whatever, XYZ. Power of the pussy is a real thing. Pussy can make just about anybody, or any man, I should say, do just about anything. You know, you want to solve things. What is, it's like the classic trope. There's like business trips and all that other shit. And what do? You bring the potential business partner to a place where you got half naked bitches running around. You got bitches putting on shows on stage. You know, you getting drinks and all that other stuff. And that's because there are literal negotiations made over pussy. Like, people don't even understand how powerful that is. You know, there were times where the way that two kingdoms came together was by a king setting up his daughter, the princess, to marry the prince of another kingdom, and their kingdoms would unite. It sounds crazy, but there's, you know, and it sounds kind of crass, but there it is, you know? And so there was a time where women decided, I don't have a man to support me, or whatever man I have isn't supporting me enough. So I got to do what I got to do for me and mine. And this is what it is. And it is looked at as cheap and tawdry because, oh my God, there are options. Did I have options? I didn't feel like I did. I didn't know anybody with that sum of money that could have helped me out, you know. And then I ran into, you know, my kid's dad, and he was like, why didn't you just ask me for the money? You know, I never would have asked you for that back, but I hadn't spoken to him in quite some time, and I didn't feel like that was something I could ask him for. I've never been the kind of woman that just asks a man for money. And I've never been under the impression that you could ask somebody for money like that and not expect anything back. So, you know, it was very confusing at the time. But, you know, here I am today. Let's just say that endeavor lasted all of 2 months because, like I said, I actually ended up bleeding money because I was not skilled in the art of just, I can do this. This is what it's about. I didn't really have a goal except for paying that bill before I left to the military. And, you know, and then I was just like, fuck it. It's not worth it. I need to be able to look at myself in the mirror. I don't like the idea of knowing that there are several men out there that know what I look like intimately. I do not like that whatsoever. So it was something that I ended up stopping. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe my thoughts are just all over the place. I don't even know what the hell to call this episode or what to do with it. But, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking just like, how did my life get here? You know, at what point do we, you know, I look at TV shows and I see stuff that kind of, you know, I guess some people would call it a trigger, but I see shit that's just like, it reminds me of where I'm at in my life right now. And I'm like, I don't like my life now. You know, there's just so much shit that has happened that I feel like I've gotten to a point of no return in my life. That even if all the things that I want fixed, I got married, I made $1 billion, I got to build a house that I'm custom making, you know, or that I have the blueprints for. All this shit, it's just like, it's not going to erase the stuff that I've been through. And I don't know if I wanted to. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if being at that point of no return, like what's the purpose of keeping going? I want things to be good. I want things to be great. I want to go to school and I want it to be easy and I want to make money and I want to be in love with love and I want to be with everything that I envisioned for myself as a little girl. But even if I got all of that tomorrow, it's not going to erase what has happened. And it's just like, damn, man, how do you keep choosing to live and choose to wake up every day knowing this? Knowing you've been through this, knowing you've lived through this. And also dealing with the idea that it might never be what you want it to be. It's just fucking crazy. Because I want a love for the ages. I want money. Like, I just don't want it to be like, I remember when I first got stretch marks, and now that I'm getting gray hairs, and everybody's like, oh, that's a sign of wisdom, and that's a sign of strength, and that's a sign of motherhood. And it's like, is that what y'all tell yourselves to get over that feeling of, fuck, man, my body has been torn open. Fuck, man, I'm getting gray hairs and I'm only 27. You know, there isn't a person out there that doesn't want to be vibrant and young looking forever. I remember when I used to watch the Golden Girls. Fuck, man. When I used to watch the Golden Girls, they would always talk about how some hot date that they got. See some crusty old dude come up on the thing. He's balding. He's got a gut. He's got this. He's got that. And I'm like, why do they think that this is a hot catch? But then I realized these bitches are in their 60s. Okay, they're in their 50s and 60s, and they're matching up with what they've got. As you get older, you realize to let these things go. But nobody likes having your titties looking like fucking Squidward's nose. Nobody likes having, bags under their eyes or, oh God, gray hair isn't even the problem. It's the transition. Okay, I remember... Oh, I felt bad the other day because my kid looked at me and she's like, oh my God, Mom, are you pregnant again? And I'm like, what the fuck? No. Why would you ask me that? Well, you've got a big belly. Y'all can see the look on my face right now. It took everything I had not to tell her not to go fuck herself. Okay? Everything I had. I'm just like, nope, Mommy's not pregnant again. Just... haven't gotten back to the exercise life yet. Just like, but Mom, your belly's only been big when you're having babies. I'm like, that's because apparently I can't stop. But now that I'm no longer pregnant, this is me in my natural state. Accept it, love it, get over it. These are things that people tell you. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and men who are like, real women look like this and this and that. And it's just because, baby, you're getting older the same way that I do. You realize that your selection of the pool of women without stretch marks or gray hairs or any of that is slim. So you adjust because you're getting older too. Getting older is not a bad thing. Okay. I remember now. So on my 21st birthday, my kid's dad came to visit me and we went out, and I didn't understand why he basically looked at us like a bunch of babies. And if I was 21, he had just turned 30. And, it just wasn't his bag, I guess I should say. And, he didn't understand my enthusiasm or my urge to go. And then after that, I got pregnant and I haven't been to a club. I have not been to a club since. But, my friend's birthday that just passed, my friend Logan, she, we were just out. We were two moms on the town. We were at a bar and it was like, okay, cool. There was a dance club like right next door, right up the block. And, some dude is like, hey, y'all should come to the club, or whatever. And I'm looking at that line. I'm just like, ew, no. And then the harder I look at that line, I realize it's a bunch of fucking 21-year-olds. It's a bunch of little fucking kids, and I do not want to go in there. Mind you, I'm 27. Haven't been to a club since. I've been bitching about how I haven't been able to go out and have a good time and blah, blah, and all this other stuff. And for some reason, having a good time in my mind was synonymous with going to the club and just dancing the night away. She gets on the line because she wants to go. I'm just like, fuck, I'm being a supportive friend, blah, blah, whatever. But all the music that I could hear, most of it I didn't know. And as a matter of fact, the only time that I threw my hands up was when I was like, you know, they were doing like Nina Sky and Sean Paul. Like, I'm talking about Temperature and you know, songs like that, like throwback songs, which lasted all like 10 minutes. And then I realized I was the only one really hyped, and so was she. Everybody else was just like, whatever, like, what the fuck is this? And the rest of the music that came through, I'm just like, oh my god, this is trash. I don't want to be here. I was looking at everybody like, yo, I feel like I'm the oldest bitch in here, which gave me 150% insight into how he must have felt when he was there for my birthday. I was just like, God, I can never tell him that he was right. But I realize as I'm getting older, there's just some things that's just like, and the funny thing is that if I dress the part, anybody would think I'm 18. You know, if I cover up the gray hairs and shit, anybody would think that I'm just 18. I'm hanging out and having a good time. I religiously dress in either slides or sneakers, jeans, and a t-shirt. That's me all year round. But, you know, and I was just looking for clothes, and I was shopping and doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, I look at women that must be my age, and they've got like accessories and cotton linen shorts and cute blouses to go outside in, and shoes, and I'm just me, ever the little girl. I'm just like, when the fuck am I gonna grow up, man? When am I gonna fit into this? And maybe it's just my free-spirited lifestyle. You know, I worked from home. I wasn't really in an office or anything like that. And now I'm taking a job on Monday that, you know, it's going to make me dress a little bit more the part, but I'll be a teacher to infants, so I'll just be a big kid. And it just, I'm sorry if this episode had really no sense of direction or really nothing to describe, but these are all just thoughts that I have today that I wanted to let somebody know, because I don't know how to juggle this. This is my brain 24/7, and I'm trying to keep myself busy to not feel these things and to not think them, but they're invading. Oh man, are they invading. After my procedure yesterday, I realized that, well, I've been going to the doctor a lot lately, you know, because surgical consults and, you know, all this other shit. And I'm realizing that every time I go to the doctor, at first I thought it was a fluke, but now my blood pressure is always high. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the stress. I don't really want to know. I don't care to know. It's just there. And my blood pressure is getting higher. And so after I had the procedure yesterday, which I was super nervous for, so they gave me like Versed and fentanyl. And I don't know what happened, but the lady, you know, I had such a hard time. I was so groggy. I was lethargic. I couldn't even open my mouth to say, yes, I'm okay. Like, I was thinking about it, but she's looking at me. She's like, are you with me? Are you with me? And she's like shaking me. She's like, are you with me? And then like trying to put alcohol, and I'm just like, no, I feel like I'm going to throw up. And I'm almost like whispering. I just wasn't there. And then I just felt like my neck fall limp. And she's like ripping my hospital gown off, trying to put EKG leads on me and trying to figure out what's going on and why I'm like that. And it was scary. I was like, oh my God, I just came in here to fucking fix my back. And here I am. This is it. This is what happens when you're fucking dying. And I just wake up in the PACU, and my mouth is so dry, and I'm so hungry, and I'm so thirsty. And she's like, you just had a little, you know, a little fallout, a little response. You're okay. I'm just like, man, a little response? That shit felt horrible. It was like a panic attack on fucking 1,000. And today I feel like shit. But I had to come in and talk to you guys about something. So here it is. Congratulations. You've been let into my mind, topic free, for an episode. I ordered Chinese food for me and my family. So I am hoping that it is here by now, because I am starving. And I am going to go eat with my kids on this Friday night. I hope that everybody enjoys this episode, and on Monday I will post. I think I might like record it Sunday and then post it Monday, because Monday I go to work. So now I kind of have to figure out a way to circumvent that schedule. But I promise you guys, I'm not going to let you down. I will post, and if I don't, I'll have a damn good reason why I don't. And it will not just be I'm too busy. So with that in mind, everybody take care. And I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Thanks for being here.